What should I know before starting an LLC? Hello, I'm Attorney Thomas Burton. I'm an estate planning and business law attorney here in Wisconsin. This question refers to an LLC or a limited liability company. So I'm going to give you a quick list of the things you need to do to get an LLC up and running in the state of Wisconsin. So I'm licensed here in Wisconsin, but let's assume you're living in the United States. The first thing you need to do is select your state because an LLC is formed at the state level. So if you live in Wisconsin, it often makes a lot of sense to form an LLC here in Wisconsin, but you can choose to form it in another state. However, be aware other states have their own requirements and filing fees. For instance, I know California has a quite expensive initial filing fee and annual filing fee, so choose carefully. In Wisconsin, it's a very reasonable $130 to file your articles of organization online or $170 to file by paper. So you can save some money off the bat by filing online. Number 2, you need to choose a name for your LLC, and this is where it's important to do a thorough web search. Make sure your name is available and not trademarked by another entity. Also think about a website. If you need a website, is it available? And then form the search at the state level with state government entity that registers LLCs in your state. In Wisconsin, it's the Wisconsin Department of Financial Institutions. In other states, it's sometimes the Secretary of State's office. Third, you're going to need to choose an LLC registered agent. In Wisconsin, this person must reside in the state of Wisconsin, and they must have a Wisconsin address. So for a lot of small businesses, they'll name themselves as the registered agent. This is the person designated to receive official legal paperwork, such as service of process in a lawsuit for your LLC. And you can name yourself, or you can hire a service who will agree to function as your registered agent for you. Then you must also have a registered office. So the registered agent and the registered office must be in Wisconsin. Often, like I say, if you name yourself, you'll be the registered agent and the registered office will be your address. Or if you already have an office, it can be your office address in Wisconsin. Next, once you have that figured out, you can file your LLC articles of organization with the appropriate state entity. This is the official act that forms your LLC in the state you chose and authorizes you to do business. In Wisconsin, when I'm forming an LLC for someone, if I have everything lined up and discussed with them, I'm often able to file the articles of organization and receive them back as filed the same day, meaning they can be immediately authorized to begin doing business in Wisconsin. And this is where working with legal counsel can benefit you, someone who has done this before. They can help you speed up the process of acceptance with the state if that's something you're looking to do. After you file the articles of organization, I recommend you immediately adopt an LLC operating agreement. The operating agreement is a private agreement between you and the other LLC members, and it is not filed with the state entity. Instead, you keep it with the books and records of the LLC. Even if you're a single member LLC, I recommend adopting an operating agreement because it's an important corporate formality you can point to in the event you are ever sued and someone attempts to pierce the veil, the corporate veil, the limited liability of your entity. The other thing you can do in an operating agreement is lay out what should happen to the business if something should happen to you. This can be especially important if you have a single member LLC where there are no other members. You can provide for the continuity of the business in a business succession plan after you're gone. And number 6, after you adopt the operating agreement, I recommend you get an EIN for your LLC. Now, for a single member LLC that does not plan to hire employees, you are not strictly required to get an EIN. If you do plan to hire employees, though, you must get an EIN. And an EIN is an employee identification number, and it's obtained from the IRS. However, the IRS says a single member LLC may obtain an EIN if they wish to do so, such as for a banking purpose or other use. And in my experience, I've found that getting the EIN right away is often helpful to my small business clients because when they go to the bank to open a business bank account, often the bank will ask them if they have an EIN letter. And you can use, again, if you're a single member LLC with no employees, you can use the owner's social security number similar to sole proprietorship as this tax ID. But if you have the EIN, It often speeds up the process and makes it simple from the beginning to get your bank account set up and get going. And after you get that EIN, that's the next step I recommend you do, is open a business bank account for the LLC, because it's important to keep all of those business assets separate from your personal assets in order to maintain the limited liability protection of the LLC. And a great way to do this is open that business bank account from the beginning and make sure all business income and expenses flow through the business account and not through a personal account. Then when you as the owner, if you have profits and want to take some out, you draw them out of the business, you pay yourself a draw to your personal account. But the business account is kept strictly for business. Those are the steps to setting up an LLC in Wisconsin, and they're similar in a lot of other states. So that's what you should know before forming an LLC. Have an overview of the process of how to go about it, and then you can continue on the path with confidence as you form your LLC. So great question, and thank you for asking. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.